I just completed a master's in medieval archaeology and will start a PhD this autumn. I chose York mostly because I went on a volunteer excavation here in the summer before I started at York, and I really enjoyed it, and then signed up for York. And because I just fell in love with the city and the history, and there was so much to uncover that I thought it was a good place to start. I think the main thing that made my studies at York really enjoyable is the range of topics you can choose from. So when I started, I didn't really know which kind of route I want to go down. But then after a few months, you can try out different modules and kind of find your own way. And there are so many people with so many interests of the academic staff that you can kind of find out what you want to do and try it out and kind of find your own route, which I really liked. And that really, for me, made it very enjoyable. So I really enjoyed the excavation in my first year of undergrad, where we got to go out into the field and excavate and actually learn the techniques that we always read about. And after that, I had the chance to try out different skills modules, for example, biomolecular archaeology, which I quite enjoyed, going to the lab, doing these kind of more practical things. And then in my master's, I especially liked the GIS element of it, learning how to present data, how to investigate data on the computer, which is something I'm still doing now. I especially focus on landscape archaeology and pottery studies. So I very much focused on the concepts and approaches of landscapes, which are then transferred into pottery studies. And that kind of allowed me to explore a lot of topics that otherwise haven't really been studied before, and kind of find my own approach to research questions. So for my undergrad dissertation, I focused on the agricultural development in the medieval Yorkshire. I looked at both archaeobotanical and archaeological data and kind of investigated how agricultural practices changed over time between the end of the Roman period and after the Norman conquest. And this kind of research showed me that there's a lot of data in grey literature that has been unpublished and hasn't really been used for academic studies, which then led me to my master's dissertation, where I did the pottery production of medieval Yorkshire, kind of again looked at unpublished and published data to identify why pottery production sites emerged and where they emerged, and kind of identify some trends in that. My first paper about the agricultural development is just being published now. I think what really helped to settle in as an international student was that in first year you lived in halls on campus, and you lived in accommodation with other international students, and that really helped settle you in. The colleges, in my case Halifax, really looked out for the international students and made sure there is activities so you can settle in quite easily. And that was really well done. I really appreciated that. And that continued even in my master's. There was still, as an international student, you still get emails, you get reminders, you get invited to events. So that kind of support doesn't go away. And that really helps to get to meet new people, especially if it's difficult during a year like the pandemic where everything is online. It kind of helps you connect with other people. I think York stands out as being so historic. There is everything from Romans to the modern day that you can actually see in the city itself, still standing buildings from that area, so Roman walls and everything, so you can actually experience the history. That had a big impact on me when I first came to York, actually seeing all these things that you would only hear and read about. And I think any aspiring student wanting to come to York, once they're in York, they're going to fall in love with that, because it's not something you get in every city.